My name is Naufal Hakimi Birusli and my metric card is 2025305361 and my part is Introduction and Business Context. Introduction and Business Context. Manet is a growing food and beverage business that focuses on serving delicious meals and drinks to its customers. For this case study, we will focus on two of its popular products, the lamb shank and chocolate milkshake. These items show Manet's dedication to using quality ingredients and creating enjoyable flavors. By combining good food with a cozy dining environment, Manet aims to attract more customers and provide them with a memorable experience every time they visit.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Luqman bin Kamaruddin. Number matrix is 2025114075. For today, I will talking about costing method and approach. So, what is job costing? Job costing is an accounting system used to track and assign direct labor, and manufacturing overhead to individual jobs or projects, so the total cost of each job can be determined. Next, batch costing. What is batch costing? Batch costing is a method of job costing where costs are accumulated and assigned to a group of identical units produced together, and the total batch cost is then divided by the number of units to determine the cost per unit. For now, our group are using batch costing method to calculate the cost of our products. This method is suitable because we produce food and drinks items like lamb shank and chocolate milkshake in batches.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Faizi Fan and my matrix number is 2025196325. And today, my part is going to explain about cost component. The first thing is direct materials. For lamb shanks, we bought it raw for 150 ringgit. My box, the ingredients is onion, carrot and celery for RM 30 ringgit. We also bought garlics, herbs and spices for 80 ringgit. And also the tomato paste for RM 20 ringgit. We want to increase our quantity in stock, so it's RM 30 ringgit. We also bought oil and seasoning for 60 ringgit. So the total is 264 ringgit. Meanwhile, for chocolate milkshake, the direct materials is fresh milk 90 ringgit, chocolate powder 45 ringgit. We also bought sugar and ice for 50 ringgit and 10 ringgit. And lastly is the disposable cups and lids for RM 35 ringgit. So the total is 195 ringgit. Then we have cost component direct labor. For lamb shank, we hire 2 staff, which is chef and also kitchen. The chef is for the preparation and cooking. We pay him 20 ringgit for 5 hours. So the total is 100 ringgit. We also hire a kitchen assistant. We pay him about 9 ringgit for 6 hours. And the total is 54 ringgit. All of that total add up to 154 ringgit for lamb shank. Meanwhile, chocolate milkshake, we hire 1 staff, which is a barista. We pay him 12 ringgit per 5 hours, and the total add up to 60 ringgit.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Rais bin Muhammad Aziz. My matrix number is 2025185745. Today I'm going to explain about the cost components shown in this slide, focusing mainly on production overheads and selling overheads for the product, which is in this case is lamb shank. First, let's look at the production overheads. These are costs that are necessary for production but cannot be directly traced to one specific product. The first category is indirect materials. This includes cleaning supplies costing 5 ringgit, packaging materials such as containers and wraps costing RM 18 ringgit, and small consumables costing 7 ringgit. Altogether, the total indirect material cost is 30 ringgit. Next, indirect labor. There are workers who support production but do not directly make the product. Here we have the kitchen supervisor with an allocated cost of 25 ringgit and the dishwasher with an allocate cost of 20 ringgit. So the total indirect labor cost comes to 45 ringgit. The third category is indirect expense. These include gas and electricity costing RM 30 ringgit, equipment depreciation of 25 ringgit, and maintenance allocation of 15 ringgit. All these indirect expenses add up to 70. When we combine all indirect materials, indirect labor, and indirect expenses, they contribute to the production cost, which total 565. After that, we have selling overheads. These are costs related to selling and administration rather than production. They include marketing and promotion, admin, salaries, allocation, which is calculated at 10%, and accounting and office expenses. The total selling overhead shown here is 55 ringgit. For this part, I will explain the cost component for the chocolate milkshake, focusing on production overheads and selling overheads. First, let's look at indirect materials. These are materials used in the production process but are not directly traceable to one milkshake. They include cleaning supplies costing RM 5 ringgit and items such as napkins, straws, and gloves costing 11 ringgit. So the total indirect materials cost is 60 ringgit. Next is indirect labor. Indirect labor refers to workers who assist in production but do not directly make the milkshake. Here we have a supervisor with cost of 25 ringgit and a helper costing 10 ringgit. This gives a total indirect labor cost of 35 ringgit. After that, we move on to indirect expenses. These include electricity costing 15 ringgit, water costing 8 ringgit, and equipment depreciation amounting to 12 ringgit. Altogether, the total indirect expenses came to 35 ringgit. When all these production overheads are added together and combined with direct costs, the total production cost for the chocolate milkshake is 341. Next, we have selling overheads, which are costs related to selling and administration rather than production. These include marketing and promotions, packaging design, administrative utilities, and admin staff wages. The selling overhead is calculated at 10% and the total selling overhead amount to 59 ringgit.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Razi Afamir Ahmad. My metric number 2025366627. For now, I will discuss about pricing strategy. For lamb shank, total cost for a batch, the price is 680 ringgit. Profit for a batch is 30%. The price 185 ringgit and 40 cent. Selling price for a batch, the price is 803 ringgit and 40 cent. Cost per unit, total cost, batch size 30. The price is 20 ringgit and 60 cent. Profit per unit, total profit, batch size is 30. The price is 6 ringgit 80 cent. Selling price unit, selling price, batch size is 30. The price 26 ringgit and 78 cent. We move on to pricing strategy for chocolate milkshake. Total cost for a batch, the price is 400. Profit 30% profit markup, the price is 120 ringgit. Selling price per batch, the price is 520 ringgit. Cost per unit, total cost, batch size is 50, the price is 8 ringgit. Profit per unit, total profit, batch size is 50, the price is 2 ringgit and 40 cent. The selling price per unit, selling price, batch size is 50, the price is 10 ringgit and 40 cent. One of the main challenges I faced in completing this SCC 116 assignment was to identify the correct type of cost. I found it very difficult to differentiate between direct materials and direct labors and overhead costs, which caused me some confusion during the calculation process. However, through completing this assignment and referring to example from class and also from the lecturer, I learned that correct cost classification is very important to ensure the total job cost is accurate. This assignment also helped me to improve my calculation and problem solving skills, as the job costing required careful and systematic calculation. I also learned to be more organized and to manage my time better when completing accounting tasks.
One of the main changes I faced while completing the job costing assignment was identifying and classifying costs correctly. At first, I found it difficult to differentiate between direct costs and overhead costs. Allocating manufacturing overhead was also challenging because it required careful calculation and understanding of cost allocation methods. From this assignment, I learned the importance of accuracy and proper cost classification in job costing. I also learned how job costing helps businesses determine the correct cost and selling price of a job. Overall, this assignment improved my calculation skills and helped me better understand how accounting concepts are applied in real business situations.
What is the challenge that I faced during this group assignment, and I learned from it? Despite this challenge, group assignment helped me learn important skill. I learned how to work together and communicate better. I also learned how to solve problems and handle disagreements. Group work teach me responsibility and time manage. It also prepared me for working with others in real life situation. Thank you.
For part challenges and learning, from me, the challenge in doing this assignment was understanding the costing method and ensuring all calculations were accurate. In addition, it was sometimes difficult to communicate with my group members online due to different schedules. However, my friends were very helpful and supportive throughout the assignment. Through teamwork and discussion, I learned how to identify direct and indirect costs and calculate the total cost and selling price correctly.
For the challenge that I faced and learned during this assignment, Econ 116 job costing. During the Econ 116 job costing assignment, I learned that cost flow is important in accounting. At first, I found it hard to match costs to the correct job. I also had problems understanding the question and formulas. After doing this assignment, I understood how job costing helps business control costs and avoid overspending. This task made me more careful with numbers and more confident in accounting.